All right, so I have a good buddy out there, Greg Blanchard, that grew up right next to me, and that was like back when New York's kayak trail started. Greg and I were like in the 8-man field that was like our kayak trail. It was more like 8 guys getting together to have fun and throw beer money at each other, and that was basically it.
Yeah.
And then he moves to freaking California. I'm like, dude, you moved from the second worst state to the worst state when it comes to financials. I was like, what are you doing out there? And he's like struggling on the Delta every day. And then he comes back to New York and he's like, oh man, this is what it's like to catch fish. And I'm like, dude, you could just come back. Like, it's like, to your point though, like it's crazy expensive. It's nuts. I don't know how you guys do it. I give you props.
We just don't. I think we just live in the days of struggle, and we're always stressed out in California, you know?
How you guys do it?
I'm trying to make the leap too. I'm trying to go out there where your guys at, maybe Central. I don't know about Tennessee, Nashville, or Nashville, Tennessee, but maybe somewhere else. Where do you live again? New York?
In Buffalo, yeah.
Buffalo. My sister.
I grew up though, Central New York, man, and like you're in the middle, like you're 10 minutes from some major Finger Lakes, 30 minutes each way from basically everything. And like at most, like you're an hour drive from Lake Erie or like the St. Lawrence River. And like you're in the mecca of largemouth and smallmouth fishing. And like obviously the taxes suck here, but like it's not like as bad as out by you guys in terms of like expenses.
So what do you recommend? What cities do you recommend to start out, like maybe a fishing career, or actually like start out a YouTube channel somewhere around your area?
I think from a YouTube standpoint, I don't think location is as important. Whereas like your YouTube channel, as long as if you can do it efficiently in terms of you're not driving an hour and a half a day to get to a body of water that's closest to you, that obviously sucks. That's not feasible.
Yeah.
Like if you're close to bodies of water where you're able to, whatever your bucket is for YouTube, if you're educational or if you're entertainment, whichever it is, if you're able to work that niche and not get stuck doing repetitive stuff, then you're good from a YouTube standpoint. But if your goal is to be, have tournament fishing be like your full-time thing, a Tennessee, an Alabama, a Texas, the Carolinas, you could argue like a Western Carolinas, like that's your best bet for the prime reason of like everywhere is a quick drive. Everywhere is less than 8 hours. Whereas
so
like
for
if
you,
you go
it's
to the
a little bit
Northeast,
difficult.
Yeah, dude. Like my Hobie schedule last year was, I fished Toledo Bend, I fished Lake Eufaula, I fished Lake Chickamauga, and then the Susquehanna River. And the Toledo Bend was 20 hours one way. Eufaula was 18 hours one way. Chick is 11 hours one way. And then Susky was the quickest one of the year, which was 4.5. And then obviously with TOC in Louisiana, that was another 19-hour drive one way.
So I have nothing to complain about. I felt like I had the grind of driving all the time, but in reality, your drives are pretty long.
Oh, they suck, man. But I say that, but there are guys in Canada that are making more tournaments than I am, so I can't complain. Some of these guys are nuts.
Yeah, I met a few over at the KBF National Championship. One of them helped me pull a treble hook out of my finger on day 3 at the gas station. But I think he made the top 10 over at Bass Nation Championship too at the kayak series. He finished somewhere around where Greg finished, I believe. But
I can't recall. I know there was one in the TOC for Hobie this year. I think his name's Nate Conley. He was one.
Is that him?
Maybe. He's a big dude. He's a very tall guy.
That's not him. He's not.
I know
big.
there's like some younger kid that's from Canada that does a bunch of national tournaments here in the States. And I can't remember his name, but
yeah. Well, I'll get to it. I'll let you know who it is, so you guys could possibly network.
Yeah.
But dang. So what was your shortest drive was 4 hours?
Yeah, it was 4 hours. But this upcoming year, I'm looking forward. They're coming to my home lake, the lake I grew up on at Cayuga, which is an hour for me now, but used to be 20 minutes growing up. So
dude, I've heard of that lake. Is that where DC won?
Yes. That's where he exposed a lot of my juice holes. I'll say.
Really?
Yeah, I was pretty bummed about that. Him and Wheeler, I just turned on the BPT's live stream and like, oh, those are my rock piles that I didn't think anybody knew about, and now they do. So it's like, that's great.
Oh man,
Yeah.
but I'll be rooting for you for that one, Cayuga, huh? Big
I'm hoping
smallmouth.
It'll be big smallmouth, big largemouth. A lot of 8.5 pounders come out of there, largemouth wise. State record smallmouth got broken there this past year. We have our tournament season, like being able to, like our bass season doesn't start until the second Saturday of June. But we can still have kayak tournaments, obviously, because we don't put them in a live well. But we have paper tournaments on the boat side that go in like April and stuff beforehand. They just have, everyone has the same scale, and it's still your heaviest 5, but everyone has to like take a video of the fish. I mean, dude, that lake puts like it's been taking about 30.5 to 31 pounds to win every single year.
Holy cow!
Yeah, for northern fish.
For one-day tournaments or
1 day tournament, 1 day, 30 pounds.
Dang, man.
Yeah,
that was like Clear Lake. I used to live in Santa Rosa. That's like an hour and a half, 2 hours away from Clear Lake, California. And it would take, back in the days, like 2004, it would take 32 to 33 pounds every single tournament during like December.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching the Bassmaster Elite tournament that was out there, and guys just like tossing back 7s. They're like, yeah, I'll call it. Like, no biggie.
Getting hooked right at the end of the mouth, and they have to release like a 7 or 8 pounder.
Yeah, I think it was Steve Kennedy or something like that.
Steve Kennedy. Yeah, that was it. And then there was another one where the FLW tour with Clifford Perch, and he was just killing it on rock piles. But
wild.
Let me see. So you're gonna be over at Cayuga in the beginning of the year?
I think that event is, I think it's end of June.
Oh, end of June.
Yeah.
Oh, so big question. I know that you're running, I believe you're running Mega Live, right? Or Lowrance Active Target. Mega Live?
Yeah, so, if I saw working for Humminbird Minn Kota, which, at Johnson Outdoors, I am using Mega Live.
Why, my question is, why haven't you hopped on to the Minn Kota bow mount game?
So I work with a local dealer here called Morgan Marine. It's probably your best Hobie dealer in the Northeast.
Yeah.
And Ryan is like the Hobie mastermind over there, and he helps me rig my kayak every year. And one thing we were talking about that, I ended up getting a Torpedo this year. And I was thinking about having a bow mount because I'm predominantly an offshore guy.
Yeah.
I like to use my electronics, be as far away from the bank as I can be.
Right.
And so obviously bow mount, like, windy days makes sense in terms of spot lock, but I'm also a guy that, like, when it's 2-3 footers on Lake Erie, I'm not afraid to go out in the Hobie and fish. But with that being said, you don't want a bow mounted, all that weight in the front when you're going against these waves. That's just like an easy way for you to tip, and that was kind of my biggest reason is put more weight, central and in the back than anything else.
I see.
So I mean, I've thought about it, but it just, for me on a Hobie, it doesn't seem worth it.
I see. Yeah, and you're out in more dangerous waters as well. It's not exactly calm where you're at, right?
No. I could pull up my weather app for you right now, and we're about to get hit with 45, 50 mile an hour west winds. So it's Lake Erie had over 20-foot waves last night, if that tells you anything.
No way.
Yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't be out there. I don't think anybody would be out there.
No one's out there.
20-foot waves?
Yeah, no, it's a common thing, especially when we get our fall west winds that leading into, winter, when we get those, those chain of cold fronts that roll through. 20-foot waves are not uncommon. I think last year they peaked at like 26, something like that. It is gnarly, dude. And it attracts a crowd. People drive down just to go watch the waves. It's freaking, like, people are trying to surf it in it too. It's crazy. Yeah, we have those crazy northern people that for some reason they like to surf, or they surf, but they live in Buffalo and they put on these wetsuits and they go windsurf. I Wow.
At least you don't have to deal with jet skiers, right? While you're out there.
Yeah, not then at least. Yeah.